Hi, it's Atmosphere, and welcome back to How to Roleplay. So I hope you guys are enjoying this series so far, but today we are going to cover thumbnails. Yes, I know, thumbnails, rigs, Cinema 4D, effects, Photoshop, all of that great stuff we are going to cover today. So I'm going to put the timestamps on screen right now, just in case you guys want to listen to a certain topic and not the whole video of just me rambling about stuff. But we are going to get straight into it. First things first, when it comes to a thumbnail, the first thing that we're going to need is a background picture. So I would recommend using a background of the main setting of the roleplay. So you can either have a thumbnail style similar to Mandy's old series Minecraft Enchanted. This style has the same screenshot of the apartment building that the main characters lived at. Or you can have a thumbnail style similar to the Quinn's Lie roleplay, a background that changes with each episode, but the background is the main setting of that episode. Let's say the first episode is at the school, then I would take a picture of the school. But then let's say that the next episode they come over to this rooftop and they spend quite a bit of time there and it's a significant place for that episode, then I'll take a picture of the rooftop. But anyways, for this example, I think I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of this rooftop because it's been looking fancy and this is where I've been doing all of the videos, so this is the star of the show. But anyways, to take a screenshot in Minecraft, all you need to do is press F2, boom, and then there you go. It will say save screenshot and you can just click that link right in the chat right there. So after you click the link in the chat, your screenshot will pop up right here, and then you could go ahead and open the file location and then just drag and drop the picture into wherever. All right, so now that we have Photoshop open, we are ready to start up making the thumbnail. So for the sake of this, I'm just gonna open a Quinn's Lie thumbnail really quickly so I can get the dimensions of the thumbnail. Oh, just look at this. I love this thumbnail so much. I think it's the best one I've ever created. But anyways, let's go ahead and place down the main picture that we just took. Here's the screenshot that we just took in game. I'm going to go ahead and press that check mark. There we go. So, of course, it's nothing special right now, but we're going to make it look special. Usually what I like to do is I like to add a little bit of a border. So, to do that, you're going to go over to this rectangle tool right here. And then you're just going to click and drag so you can create this little box on top of the box, or the rectangle on top of the rectangle in this case. And I'm going to fill it with black. I'm just going to make sure this is a little bit even because this does not look too even to me. Let me just fix that right up. All right, when you have that all even, you're going to turn the opacity down quite a bit, maybe to like 20 or even lower if you feel like you need it. But there, it just gives a nice border. It makes it look like the border is a little bit lighter, and yeah, that's how I usually like to make the base of my thumbnail. So if you want to make the renders the main focus of the thumbnail, I would recommend blurring the screenshot just a little bit. So how to do that, if you click on the layer that you have your screenshot on, you're just going to go ahead and press filter and then blur and then Gaussian blur. And usually if you think 4 is a little bit too much, I like to stick with 4 though, but maybe for this we'll put it at maybe like 3 or something. I don't know. Okay, so now that we have the base of the thumbnail, we are ready to create our rig or our render. Okay, so right now I am in Cinema 4D because this is usually the program that I use to make my Minecraft renders. And let me tell you that creating renders on Cinema 4D is a lot easier than creating renders on Blender. Trust me, I've tried. Although Cinema 4D may look confusing, it gets a lot easier the more you use it. The same with Photoshop if you're extremely new to it. But I'm going to teach you how exactly to make a good looking Minecraft render. First, you're going to need a rig, and this is the rig that I use. The link to this video will be in the description. In the description of this video is the Mediafire link where you can get the free rig from. So once you have the rig downloaded, you're just going to drag and drop your file, rig, whatever you want to call it, right in there, and it will take a little bit, but it will import that rig right into Cinema 4D. So this is exactly what it's going to look like right when you have drag and dropped it. So the one that I always use is this female one, even for males, and I will show you why. To import it, you just have to double click on the rig, then you can exit out of this. And when you first get into it, oh, by the way, let me mention, everything is in Spanish. I am so sorry if you do not speak Spanish. I honestly don't, but my boyfriend helped me out to navigate. But I mean, if you click enough buttons, you can kind of try to like figure it out yourself. Or you can use Google Translate. The first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna go over to this layers tab right over here, and you're just going to unlock everything. So you're gonna make sure all of the locks are like bright instead of dark. Then we're gonna go back over to attributes, and at first, of course, the skin is all black right now. We want to add a skin onto it, so we are going to go over to where it says 5.0 options, and then the skin tab, and then we can pick a skin for the render. So for this example, I have chose Bowen, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why. So if you have a girl, then yes, you can leave the render just as so. But if you are using a male skin, and a lot of the newer male skins, they don't have 2 pixels above or below the eyes. It's just 1 pixel, and then the eyes are right there. So what you're going to do to get rid of the curviness of this render is you're going to scroll all the way down to where it says female, and you're going to get rid of this first option right here. You're just going to unclick that, and there you go. As you can notice, he is a little bit like he's missing something. So we're going to just check on this hat / second layer, and there you go. There's his hat right there. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit to where it says the pupils. I can't read Spanish, so I'm not even going to try. But it says 3 right now. There are 3 different options for how the eyes look. I like using number 2. And then for this last option right here, the brio, I'm guessing is the little eye sparkle. You're going to go ahead and check mark that to add the sparkle in the eye and make him look all beautiful. Bowen has blue eyes, so I'm going to change this green color by just clicking on it, and I'm going to change it to a light blue, and the same thing, but I'm going to choose screen color so we can get both the same color. And there you go. There is Bowen. Right here to the right of Bowen is the face movement, or the mouth movement. So usually I like my mouth to be pretty small, so I will go ahead and drag that all the way to the left. And I like moving the mouth up a little bit just to add some cuteness to it. I don't know why. So the vertical, where it says vertical, I'll move the mouth up just a tad. And then let's, for the sake of this, let's open his mouth a little bit, and let's give him a little smiley face. You can give him a smiley face by moving the expression tab to the right. So there we go. I changed the mouth. If you want to change anything with the eyes, you can go ahead and click straight on each pupil, and you can move them side to side and everything like that. There are also some options right in the center of the head where you can move both of the eyes, like up and down, or even side to side if needed. And you can also mess around with the eyebrows. If you don't even want eyebrows, you can delete them, but there are eyebrows under Bowen's skin, so there would be no point. Right, so now we're going to talk about extruding. So I want to extrude the hair. So what we're going to do is I'm going to click on the hat layer, and we're just going to drag this out of the way. We're just going to move it to the left, whatever. So now that you have this apart from his head, what you're going to do, let's zoom in a little bit. Do you see all of these cubes over here on the left? We're going to click on the cube that has the orange square on the top of it. So this is now making it able to select each square. So by default, your thing should be on the move tool. We're going to do the live selection. So we're just going to click on the little mouse with the circle around it. And now you are able to click on anything you want. So usually what I like to do is I like to click and also hold shift so that you could click multiple things, or you can click, drag, and hold shift at the same time so you can highlight everything. So let's do that really quickly. By the way, if you ever make any type of mistake, Control Z is your answer. All right, so now that we have everything highlighted, what you're gonna do on your keyboard, you're going to click the letter D, so that can give you the extrude option. Right where it says offset, I usually like to put 2. Sometimes I think 3 is too much, and I think 2 is a fine ground where you can see enough of it. And keep the maximum angle. I don't know what the default is, but put the maximum angle to 100. So yeah, we're gonna just have it set to 2 and enter, and then there you go. It will extrude those pixels. If you have a problem where this pointy thing happens, there is a very easy way to fix it. So what we're gonna do, instead of having this this bottom square selected, we're gonna select the third from the top, where it has like the 2 little balls on the on the little corners of the cube. And we're also going to click the move tool on the top bar over here. And for these pointy parts, we're just going to select the points and just drag it in with the arrows. We can go back to the cube with the orange square on the top and go back to the live selection tool. What I usually like to do is I like to extrude little parts here and there just to give the hair some depth. I'm going to click on a couple of squares, and I'm going to hold shift while I do that so that it doesn't get rid of my original squares. And we're just going to click some beside each other, some diagonal from each other, just some squares here and there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to click D again. So now that we have that, when we go back to the regular default square, now the head looks like there is, you know, some dimension to the hair. It looks like some hair is kind of sticking out. So to put the hat layer back on the head, all you're gonna do is click on the hat layer with the move tool, and then down here where it says position, on the X, you are going to just type in 0 and then enter, and then it will go back to its original position. And you will also notice that the hat kind of floats. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna make the hat a little bit smaller. So we're going to grab the scaling tool right beside the move tool, and we're just going to click and drag this all the way down. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back to the move tool, and we're gonna click on the bottom parts of the arms or the feet. Usually the bottom parts are the parts that you want to work on. So for this, let me just make him like kind of, you know, excited. I don't know why I want to make Bowen so excited right now, but we never see him smiling, so now is the chance. All right, so this is a very simple pose, but I think we are pretty much done with our render. So even before you export your render, you will want a Lightroom just to add shadows to the rig. A Lightroom that I have used for a very, very long time is a Lightroom by Atmo Artworks. The link to that will be in the description. It is a very, very nice Lightroom, and it makes the skin look all beautiful and all shaded afterwards. So make sure you go ahead and download that Lightroom. To talk about my render settings, I'm just going to show you guys what my things are. I don't really know what it really means. I searched up a tutorial for this myself because I'm not good at setting up these things. Now that we have my settings out of the way, we're going to go ahead and click this little option right over here, the one in the middle. Right here is the finished kawaii version of Bowen. Isn't he so adorable? I know. So to save that, you're going to go ahead and go over to File, Save As. I'm pretty sure these were all of my settings. PNG, my depth is 8-bit. alpha channel selected, sure. You're gonna press OK, and then just go ahead and title it anything you want. And now we have Test Bowen. So I'm just going to click on him and hold down the shift button while I also drag this to make this a little bit bigger, because I want Bowen to be all big and all cute. I also like to rotate them a little bit just to make it look like there is some movement to the picture. And there we go. How adorable is that? What I like to do is I like to brighten them just a little bit. So on the render layer, I'm going to go ahead and right click it and then click blending options. And then I'm going to go over to color overlay. Now what I have set is I like having like a pinkish hue on them. So I'm going to set the blend mode to overlay so that it's not too harsh. I'm going to turn the opacity down so that it's like a very soft pink that you don't even really notice, but it makes a big difference when it is on. And then I'm also going to add a gradient overlay. So these are my settings for that. The blend mode is overlay. The opacity is at 23. The gradient that I have is the black and white gradient that comes with default Photoshop. The style is linear. The angle is 90, but usually I like to change that depending on where the head is. And the last thing that I usually like to add is a little bit of an inner glow to give them that last pop. So the blend mode is screen, the opacity is 22, I have zero noise. I like to make it white instead of yellow that I think it usually is. Technique softer, choke is 0, size is 27. For the range, it's at 50 and the jitter is at 0. So there you go. Now you can see what it looks like without the effect versus what it looks like with it on. It just adds more color, more brightness, I guess, and makes it look, I don't know, pop more. If you have a Roleplay logo, I guess this is where you would want to typically put the logo. So I'm going to go ahead and place, just for an example, the Quinsley logo right onto the thumbnail, and make sure you put it somewhere where people can see it. And here's what it looks like so far. It's pretty cute. And the last couple of things that you will want to add on the thumbnail or any little effects that you want. So Bowen looks very excited, very cute, very kawaii. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of blush on him and maybe some hearts around his head. So usually I'll just get all of my images and stuff from Google. And right here, this is anime blush, so I'm going to go ahead and save it. I usually like to search up stuff and then put PNG at the end so that it could be a transparent background. Okay, so I'm gonna just make this a little bit smaller and then try to fit this, but I don't think it'll fit without me kind of finessing it a little bit. So I'm gonna erase one side of the blush just so I can have like full control of it basically. So right here, we're gonna focus on one blush for right now. And I'm just going to kind of shape it to Bowen's face like that. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to right click the layer. I'm going to duplicate layer so that I can add it to the other side of the face. And I think I downloaded this emoji pack from DeviantArt. So you can get a whole bunch of emojis that are already PNGs. All you have to search up emoji pack DeviantArt or whatever, or emoji pack like PNG, and it should be able to come up with a bunch of emojis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place down some hearts and put that around Bowen's head. Alright, so there we go. We have Kawaii Bowen with a whole bunch of hearts around his head. And honestly, all of these little effects make a huge difference. So you can see the thumbnail with the effects and without the effects. And honestly, it just gives it a whole different feel. Because for this is just Bowen like all happy and maybe he's excited for something. But for this, it's just like, what is even happening? Like this, you can set up a whole different mood with just adding, you know, little PNGs and stuff on top of your render. All right, and that is exactly how I make my thumbnails. So I know it may seem a little confusing, all of these new features that you probably never seen before, but honestly, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And really, even though it may look confusing, it's really not, because you don't need to know that many features, just the same ones that you're going to be using over and over again here and there. So you will learn very, very quickly. Also, I want to mention that yes, even though I do use Cinema 4D and Photoshop, there are a lot more programs that you can accomplish these with. Like I said, Blender, and there are a lot of like duplicates to Photoshop. So if you don't have those programs, then of course you can use other options as well. Those are just the options that I use, so I was just showing you how exactly I did them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful to you guys. Make sure you are keeping up with the playlist, and make sure to leave the video a like if you did enjoy, and make sure to subscribe to my channel to check back at all of the new awesome content that I have coming for you guys. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!